That's okay. No, the shade on me, goddammit. My constant right, that's okay. No, the shade off me. Always be yourself. When someone gives up on you or overlook you during your journey, I say that respectfully. When someone says that you don't have potential, they in the background sending an evil lie, was in competition at the end of the day. Never get discouraged because someone's trying to project fear. They lack of self-control when it came to discipline. They didn't know how to keep it real, to go within, understand unconditional starter within. They wanted to dim yellow when it came to your vocabulary. That faith is different. Wasn't competition. That self-reflected going within. You bad and you're worthy. You're beautiful. You're handsome. Don't give up on yourself when I say that respectfully. I'm far from a catfish and I say that respectfully. I'm Naya Gion respect and I'm hailing from a hate crime that was done 7/31/2025. I would never hurt myself, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding regardless who has me shadow banned or not. And I say that respectfully. Always be yourself with no misintentions. To the genuine ones with misintentions, never give up on yourself when someone says you're not worthy of choosing you. It was never competition when they overlooked you. I'm not using no respect and I'm far from a hater, and I say that respectfully. Always be yourself. Loving yourself is not a crime, and I say that respectfully. You are beautiful, you are handsome, you are your worthy. I wasn't trying to sugarcoat it being authentic. You said I didn't have potential, but I wasn't trying to dim my light when you said I wasn't in existence. I was truly favored by God, something that you couldn't relate to. You tried to humble me when I couldn't see at the end of the day, but I still didn't overlook me. That motivation hits different. They said if you ain't got motivation, you ain't got discipline. But patience actually allowed me to feel I was really keeping it real. My conscience hits different when I understood the pray to go within. Being emotionally strong because God wasn't trying to mislead me wrong. I prayed to go within, not to pray against my neighbor. Didn't have hate in my vein. They would never understand elevation hits different. Confidence. The energy hits different. They wanted you to bow down to them, get out of character, but hold on 1 second, I was far from a crash out. I ain't have to checkmate you, but I truly knew I respect you. I ain't have hate in my vein, but you truly overlooked me. Projected pain, the sending an evil lie wasn't an even exchange. I wasn't on your vocabulary at the end of the day when it came to your tax bracket, but I still don't respect my neighbor when I didn't have to pretend to be authentic. No, I have to trade though for me. To the genuine ones with intentions, always choose you. When someone says you're not worthy, you're beautiful, you're handsome, they sent you the evil lie. They was throwing spoken in a toxic way. They had to tell a little lie too at the end of the day to make folks feel irrelevant when it came to the hate train, so they could be on the same page when it came to sending you the evil lie. But hold on 1 second, I wasn't trying to lose myself another day. They was doing beauty magic, putting shit in front of my door when it came to that garbage. It be the trend of thought we return back to center when it come to your pain. Your lack of self-control when it come to your discipline. Hold on 1 second, you wasn't acting your age. How this type of stuff actually happens. How folks want you to get out of character. They said that you don't making sense at the end of the day. Or because I love myself, to believe my faith. I understood 6 feet apart. And I actually still know how to respect my neighbor regardless they was sending me the evil law. Oh my God, how this type of stuff actually happens. I was far from a crash out, being respectful. I ain't trying to present myself when you know how to respect me. Always be yourself, the moment's intentions. I'm not your genuine love, respect, and I would never hurt myself, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. And I say that respectfully. You know, folks would send you spell work in a toxic way. They want you to go tick for tack with them, but hold on 1 second, we don't carry the same weight. Letting go that toxic pain. Hold on 1 second, we wasn't on the same page. I still knew how to respect my neighbor. When you understand, hold on 1 second, to stay in your lane. You had to play with spoke in a toxic way to tick for tack. You had to create a hate train, only rise to hold on 1 second. What happened to your conscience when it comes to talking with your chest? It be the train of thought for me. You was talking with your shoe size, not your body weight. Acting mature wasn't in your vocabulary. Hold on 1 second, we was on the same page. I knew how to respect my neighbor regardless if I came from poverty and pain. It's a train of thought for me how folks will try to have the hate eye towards you, or because you're speaking up for yourself and keeping it real. How they want folks to resent you because you understood unconditional love started within. They didn't want you to see your beauty with this, so you have to send spoken in a toxic way. Folks swear you talking about like a bad habit, but goddamn your mask fall up. Hold on 1 second, I didn't have to make that mistake. All I was doing was be my authentic self. Having a heart, being kind at the end of the day will make folks try to dim and to discourage you, or because you truly have potential, you was never the issue. How when you live in a certain environment, folks want to kick you down. Speaking up for yourself never allows someone to see you frown. Maintaining that smile at the end of the day was far from pretending. Being authentic, you didn't lose yourself another day. Understand the hold on 1 second, God didn't resent you. We may not pray the same. Always be yourself with no misintentions. And I say that respectfully. I'm far from a catfish. I ain't got no filter on. It be the train of thought for me how folks don't want you to pour into yourself. They want you to do you wrong. It be the train of thought for me how you gotta get this person, that person, this person, that person, over 10, 20, 30, 40 people to make you feel irrelevant at the end of the day. To be on the same page when it comes to a hate train, to go up against an innocent person who didn't have to pretend to be authentic. They was far from a copycat when it came to being authentic. Regardless, they got lost in their words at the end of the day. They standing on business, being patient. The unconditional love hits different. The gang stalking was real when it was keeping it real. You had the evil eye on someone at the end of the day because, hold on one second, you wanted your weight to be held accountable when it came to your lie at the end of the day. But only folks that was actually understanding you was these low vibrational frequencies at the end of the day. But hold on one second, we was on the same conscience. That high vibrational bother your mental health. That's why you try to shortchange my better health. No, I haven't changed on how this type of stuff actually happens. Always be yourself with no misintentions. And I say that respectfully. You got good days, bad days. I may not make sense to the average person, but far from pretending. I be saying that respectfully, being authentic. They say you can't motivate yourself if you ain't got discipline. But how'd I say, hold on one second, what happened to participating? Because you got to understand balance when it comes to having patience. It ain't going to be a flow at the end of the day if you can't motivate yourself to better yourself. Because you're going to only resent yourself. It's a train of thought for me. Unconditional love started within. Find a peace within. That rotation when it comes to your mental health, not to get lost in your words. The energy is different. Being discouraged by the enemy, let alone the devil when they try to size you up. I motivated myself every single day to show up for me when someone couldn't see my vision. At the end of the day, that patience is different because God showed me a swag. I wasn't trying to let go of myself because you said that true love can't last. Because you lacked self-control when it came to this because you didn't know how to love yourself, to better yourself. I understood that hold on one second, growth hits different. Always be yourself, and I say that respectfully. In order to have motivation at the end of the day, I didn't have to seek revenge. I understood to respect my name, but didn't have to pretend. Setting the evil lie when it came to spell work, or because of the fact that you wanted me to discourage myself. Being authentic. My conscience is not for everybody, and I say that respectfully, didn't have to pretend. I ain't had to play with spell, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. I put everything in God's hands. And I say that respectfully, because I was trying to overlook myself when you wanted me to resent myself. They say if you don't got motivation within you, you will never understand balance when it comes to discipline. The energy is different because God was really paying attention. When God brought you balance, acknowledge your worth, that you are worthy. When God was really paying attention, God revealed the devil alone, the enemy right to left. God gave you the strength to communicate and to go with it, not to hurt yourself with words. Overcoming pain, still be patient with time and day. That flow is different. It was never competition when it came to your neighbor, didn't have hate in your vein. To motivate yourself at the end of the day is to show up for yourself to understand growth. That maturity is different acting your body weight. Your shoe size, hold on one second, than living your vocabulary today. You understood balance to let go, only for God to take the will to allow you to see yourself woke. We may not pray the same, but I still know how to respect my neighbor. They said God not real, but hold on one second. God allowed me to go with it, not to give up on myself. I may not make sense to the average person because I love myself. I love myself not to dim my light. I love myself not to dim my light. Beauty started within. You project the insecurity on me at the end of the day to be a crash out because you was throwing smoke in a toxic way. But I was willing to better myself. It was funny when it came to that text message. You said, hold on one second, that ugly bitch. It'd be the train of thought for me. But you the one that had lack of self-esteem issues. Because at the end of the day, what happened to your growth, acting your body, but you talking about you was so real. You the one that gotta play with smoke in a toxic way to project someone to be mentally ill. It'd be the train of thought for me how folks would go so hard to try to keep the next person down to see them wrong. Go from right from wrong. It'd be the train of thought for me, but God truly showed that baby balance, didn't matter their age, let alone their tax bracket. I may not make sense to the average person, but I don't play with spell work, and I say that respectfully. Always be yourself when someone projects fear in you. Never give up on yourself when I say that respectfully, because that motivation is different. To understand motivation, you got to show up for yourself. That patience is different when it comes to discipline. Always be yourself. The right people that's truly for you will respect you with no misintentions. They not sending you the evil law, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. I'm far from a rapper, just being authentic. I wasn't trying to fit in, I just knew how to respect my neighbor, didn't have to pretend. Loving myself. I know how to give my neighbor flowers, respect on their name at the end of the day. My constant of everybody, and I say that respectfully. We not the same. Say when it shines. No, hold on 1 second. When the sun actually shines at the end of the day, it's gonna rain. But overcoming that storm, they would never understand the pain. That motivation is different going within. What it took for you to fulfill those shoes to understand your existence. Almost got last in a couple of chapters. Wasn't never for likes if it was a cloud chasing. Cause God was never for sale when God allowed you to be woke. Hold on 1 second, it was never competition. They projected a mindset getting you out of character, but fall from a crash out when you didn't have to wild out. I love myself perfect. Hold on 1 second, fall from it. I understood that hold on 1 second, I had to pour into me when you overlooked me. Healing trauma and pain, that obstacle hits different. Childhood wounds allows you to feel, keeping it real. Wasn't trying to dim your light, limit to yourself when it comes to a future so real. Becoming mature, hacking your body way. Wasn't trying to get discovered because someone knew how to respect you, even when the enemy tried to test you. That childhood trauma here went into your adulthood, but it brought you balance, acknowledge your worth, that you are worthy. You allowed yourself to feel. You allowed yourself to see. Healing that wound was truly real. Fulfilling that cup at the end of the day became roads when you least expected because God was pouring into you to allow you to see your garden. That hold on 1 second, the grass was green. When it came to hold on 1 second, showing up for yourself when it came to your world. And the right people truly respect you, but no misintentions, let alone send you the evil lie. Who would have knew that confidence lied within you? It allowed you to see that, hold on 1 second, God was protecting your mental health when they said that you was mentally unstable. Being self-destructive at the end of the day, living your vocabulary when they try to do you wrong to protect your heart. Who would have knew that God was really showing you balance? I may not make sense to the average person, but my content is not for everyone. It's not. Always be yourself with no misintentions. You may not be eye-appealing to the average person, regardless who's sending you spell work, who's trying to poison your food, your narcotics, your drink, or whatever the case may be. I'm far from an addict. I'm far from a prostitute. And I say that respectfully, regardless who has me blackmailed, who has blackmailed me, or has me shadow banned into the day. I'm not going to stop being Naya, genuine love, respect. Always be your authentic self and no intentions. It's not a crime to be authentic, neighbor. Nah, it really ain't. Being authentic, that rhythm is different. It's going to bother certain folks' mental health, got them stressing. All because of the fact that you understand that your walk of life is different. But you still know how to respect your neighbor, then have to pretend. Giving folks respect on their name, they try to discourage, try to take credit for your name. You know God's for that blueprint that God endowed within you. Getting lost in certain folks' conversations at the end of the day, nah, that was truly pointless. And I say that respectfully because you wasn't trying to lose you. I may not make sense to the average person, but healing trauma and pain is going to bother someone's mental health. Hold on 1 second, reality was an overnight process. I love myself, not to dim my light. I love myself, not to dim my light. Damn, these motherfuckers was throwing sport right to left. You know, we live in a spiritual world where folks can't keep it real. You know, because they so dim when it comes to their own light. Can't figure out if they got their one foot in one door, one foot in the other door. To hold on 1 second, are we truly spiritually healing? And that's a train of thought for me how this type of stuff actually happens. Because it's a spiritual healing when it comes to growth. Folks use their spirituality gifts for all the wrong folks. Then we get into the 3D at the end of the day. Folks can't try to get physical. Only as the hold on 1 second. You was playing the spiritual round, now you in 3D. Trying to take me for a test at the end of the day, but you truly the dummy. No, I have the check on me. Why would you bother an innocent person? You know, my conscience, everybody. And being authentic, I may not make sense to the average person. And that's okay because I'm not for you. And I say that respectfully. That's okay. It's disgusting, disturbing to see. Having a spiritual gift is a beautiful thing. But be mindful when you're testing the wrong person at the end of the day. Trying to short the change when it comes to their mental health. Or because you lacking revenge. Hold on 1 second. It was one-sided when it came to your competition. You lack revenge when nobody was actually motivating you to go within. Hold on 1 second. You forgot to pour into yourself. And I say that respectfully. Someone wasn't entertaining your bullshit when it came to your shenanigans. You know, because they understood faith. Hold on 1 second, maturing. Something that you couldn't relate to because you was acting your shoe size. You had to play all these mind manipulation games that, hold on 1 second, the devil was truly telling a lie. God revealed the enemy, let him the devil to that baby that day. Didn't matter how old they was. Only for God to still keep it, brother. Hold on 1 second. I'm not going to lose you another day. I want you to motivate yourself in the most healthiest way. But don't get discouraged because someone lacks self-control when it comes to discipline. I may not make sense to the average person. I say that respectfully. But how this type of stuff actually happens. How folks use their gifts for all the wrong reasons. People have jealousy and envy and hate within them. Then you got folks saying that, hold on 1 second, I want to be authentic. But I can't get into my spirituality because I'm trying to still do healing. When it comes to the 3D, so motivated, how do I go with it? I want to be so motivated that I remove that mask, the end of it, being my own enemy. I don't want to be stuck in between two worlds. I want to understand how to heal to better myself. How this type of stuff actually happens, that don't make sense to the average person. But you could do two things in one. But only use your gifts for all the right reasons, not to dim your own light, to project karma in a toxic way, to disrespect your neighbor. We ain't the same. Because someone will lack a self-control that has jealousy and envy and hate within them. They have a mindset of plotting against somebody and decides to wake up one day and say, I want to take some of their free will. Not only do I want to rob a mother and father from their child, but I want to hurt a community as well. So when someone sits there and plots at the end of the day and takes an innocent child, didn't matter how old they was, someone didn't have to hurt nobody, and takes that innocent child from that mother and father. That mother and father now wakes up every single day and their life is changed forever, all because of the fact that someone had the mindset of hate. Someone had the mindset of saying, you know what, I want to be a bully today. I want to project spoiler on somebody because I don't want them to see a beauty within them. Somebody wakes up today and say, you know what, I'm going to go down to this building, that church. I'm going to go down to that school, to that bank, to that altar, to that communion store, and change somebody their life. All because someone decided to have the evil eye. We all don't have the same mindset at the end of the day, because we don't all use our gifts for wrong. It's individuals that use their gifts for good, that actually helps their neighbors. They're not trying to bring harm towards their neighbors. You got individuals that have the mindset of having jealousy and envy and hate and say, you know what? Because a mother and father brought a child into this world and said, you know what? Your mother and father and God gave you a gift to be beautiful, to be handsome. I'm going to take that away from you. That's how someone felt. How it took a group of people to go up against one person and say, you know what, I can't stand that person because they're authentic. Their anointings bothers my health. And they didn't have to do anything to me. Or maybe a little birdie had to say something because of the fact that someone was speaking up for themselves and someone decided to disrespect somebody and someone was speaking up for themselves. They didn't like the fact that someone was able to control the narrative because, hold on 1 second, when it comes to God we serve and justice first, at the end of the day, God said, hold on 1 second, neighbor, you was dead ass wrong. You was wrong. You was wrong of trying to control the narrative and trying to kick somebody down because you said that nobody's going to believe that innocent child, regardless of how old that baby was that day. How this type of stuff actually happens. Didn't matter what subject it was. Now you got folks in different tax brackets saying, oh, you a snitch. So now that baby's a snitch because now that baby just witnessed somebody take his friend's life. That baby's a snitch because someone took his mother's life. That baby's a snitch because someone took his father's life, huh? That baby's a snitch. Didn't matter how old that baby is. It says street code, don't be a snitch until it's your household. You understand that? Hold on 1 second. What happened to our community? It's a chain of thought for me. Everybody's at peace. Hold on 1 second. Where are we? Yeah, you at peace playing with spell work because you're evil and you're nothing but the devil worshiper. We don't all worship the devil. We all don't wake up and say, you know what? Is this person deteriorating today? Is the spell work working today? Are they elevating? Are they getting sick another day? People don't have that mindset, a real one. you know, ruin someone's career. Like the next door neighbor that tells someone's every move and that's gang stalking them, you know? Didn't matter they tax bracket. How this type of stuff actually happens. How someone sits there and watches someone's every move when they come in and out of their household. So someone can come into their household and poison their food and look like an accident or torment their household. And everybody knows about it, whatever the case may be. And then say, you know what, this person is mentally unstable. Because, you know, they pick and choose who could talk about God, who could talk about spirituality, who could talk about hate crime, who could talk about discrimination, who could talk about this topic, that topic. Until it's your child that you told at the end of the day they could become whoever they want to be, regardless if it's a content creator, a doctor, a lawyer, a basketball player, a tennis player, a volleyball player, a psychiatrist, an entrepreneur, a lawyer, a judge, a cheerleader. It's a train of thought for me. How there's real mothers and fathers that actually care about their children. You got parents that don't care about their children. And then you got other parents who don't care about the next person's child either. Because the same way you protecting your baby, someone is sending your baby the evil eye. And it could be a grown-ass adult that's sending your child the evil eye. Because your child got long, pretty hair. Your child got beautiful eyebrows. Your child has beautiful features. And that's a grown-ass adult. And they supposed to be acting a body weight, but they acting a shoe size. God damn, what happened to the real at the end of the day? How this type of stuff actually happens. How a grown-ass adult is projecting on a child to project spell work on that baby's health. You're trying to find out why your baby health is declining because this idiot is in the background playing with spell work. You know this type of stuff actually happens. Or that mother that's fighting for her child custody right now, right? She's trying to find out why she going in circles, within circles, why she can't get custody of her child. Because someone that saw potential within her, because someone that can't carry a child, or someone that can't be around children, or someone at the end of the day that's not even fit to be a mother, sent her the evil eye. Or someone that she didn't even have to know. Didn't like the fact that she was a mother. And sent spell work towards her household and said, you know what? You won't be able to see your child another day. And I'm going to make fits of that. That's what she did. That's what he did. Because, you know, men and women do that, you know? It's a train of thought for me. Now that mother is fighting for custody in a system at the end of the day, and they can't even give her baby back. This type of stuff actually happens. You know, you can disrespect me all day long. I don't live in fear and I would never hurt myself. You have me shadow banned or whatever the case may be. We don't attract the same people. And it's disgusting to see how grown-ass men can sit there and disrespect a woman and then sit there and want to control the narrative as he's a man. Because it's what you do in your own community. It's a train of thought for me. But there's some real men out there, let alone young men that's being raised, that know how to respect a woman. And I say that respectfully, regardless if he has a mother around him or not. Regardless if he didn't have his father in his life, he still knew how to respect a woman. Regardless of her gender, of her sexual orientation. And that goes the same as a female too. You're not for me, keep it pushing. And no, not that man is wrong for speaking up for himself. No, not that woman is wrong for speaking up for herself. When someone sits there and tries to violate somebody, or someone sits there and tries to control the narrative of someone's life, you telling someone that they ain't got no voice. That's a society you live in. That's that low vibration you live in. And then you sit there trying to get somebody locked up and put them in a psych board or use their documentation to blackmail them against them at the end of the day. How this type of stuff actually happens. I don't live in fear and I would never hurt myself regardless of who respects me or not at the end of the day. My content is not for everyone. It's not. It's disgusting to see how someone will have the mindset because they don't know how to heal to go within. You may be breaking now. You may be having a flare-up or whatever the case may be, right? Instead of you asking your neighbor, how can you help me? Or how do you help me get rid of my wrinkles? How do you help me do something that I can't do on my own? You rather send someone spell work. Someone motivates you at the end of the day. They didn't even have to try hard. You were so inspired. You watched them for months and years at a time. Took notes, but you couldn't put respect on your neighbor's name. How this type of stuff actually happens at the same token. I'm far from a catfish. And I say that respectfully. I am still healing from a hate crime that was done 7/31/2025, and I do not live in fear, and I don't fear no man or woman that don't have the same blood type as me, and I say that respectfully. I am Nia Genuine Love Respect. I walk these streets alone, and I would never hurt myself, and I say that respectfully regardless of you having shadow banned or not. It's disgusting to see how folks will put you in competition when you're trying to help your neighbor. It should be no reason why someone is losing their life because someone lacks self-control when it comes to discipline. It should be no reason why someone should lose their life because someone decided to play with spellwork in a toxic way. No mother or father or loved one should lose a child because someone said, you know what, I got jealousy and envy and hate in my vein. I just can't stand that person's guts. And someone didn't have to do anything to you. You know, what I realized about life, how someone can disrespect you for months and years at a time, and you let folks walk all over you for a long time, and as soon as you speak up and have a voice for yourself, you dead ass wrong. But it was okay for someone to be disrespected at that moment, regardless if it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. And then it kept being a constant thing, a repeated thing. And then you involve multiple other people's involvement into your one-sided beef with somebody, how this type of stuff actually happens. And then you got folks looking in at somebody like they're mentally unstable or they're crazy because you're able to control the narrative, how this type of stuff actually happens. Or when someone speaks like this, you sit there and say, oh, they mentally unstable. They can't hold a conversation. They need to be put in a sideboard. They need to be locked up somewhere. But you the same person at the same time too that's projecting spoke on somebody when it comes to their finances, when it comes to them elevating. You trying to cause confusion and chaos when it comes to their mental health. You trying to shortchange them because they're willing to choose themselves and they're not doing this shit for likes and music cloud chasing when it comes to their unconditional love going within. How this type of stuff actually happens. It's disgusting to see how they say respect your elders when it comes to a certain generation. How can we respect somebody at the end of the day when they don't respect us? Like, make it make sense at the end of the day. How can we respect somebody when they're sending us spell work? How can we respect somebody when they're sending us the evil eye? But we can't explain ourselves because you know why? Someone's able to control the narrative because they're older than us. And then they sit there and say, well, you got to respect your elders. I did respect my elder. But my elder didn't respect me, and I didn't have malicious intentions towards my elder. And before the conversation transpired, what then transpired, I respected my elder. Before my elder decided to escalate something on a one-sided, low vibrational energy at the end of the day to project on that innocent person how this type of stuff actually happens. It does. How folks will energy harvest off your energy and then say that you're mentally unstable, you're mentally unfit, and they will send so many distractions into your life and project spell on you and try to blackmail you against you. It's a train of thought for me. We all not the same, and I say that respectfully. Always be yourself and nobody's intentions. I'm not no respect and I'm far from a hate, and I say that respectfully. Today is currently August 27, 2025. Loving yourself is not a crime, and I say that respectfully. Have a safe year, day, evening, week, weekend. You matter, you're worthy. When it comes to my creativity, I work alone and I always have since day one. And I say that respectfully. Regardless who's trying to blackmail me against me, regardless who's projecting sport towards me at the end of the day, I call my energy back. Any negative energy return back to sender. And I say that respectfully. I do not play with sport good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. And I say that respectfully. Always be yourself when someone sends you the evil lie and you ain't got malicious intentions. And I'm far from a catfish, and I say that respectfully. Loving yourself is not a crime. When God pours into you and sends right people into your life, respect's a two-way street. They're not sending you an evil lie. They're not sending malicious intentions towards your life. And I say that respectfully because the devil's a lie. My content is not for everybody. You know, they say the news is fake, right? Until it actually happens in your community. Because regardless of if it hits the news or not, this type of stuff actually happens every single day. It's certain incidents that don't be spoken upon at the end of the day. When someone's life is just taken, when someone did something with malicious intentions at the end of the day, and a case went unsolved because they had certain folks that work in certain tax bracket but that was able to cover up a crime scene, or they had certain folks that worked in certain departments that was able to carry themselves in an orderly fashion but wear masks in a good healthy way, and paint themselves out to be into a community that they're one way but they just committed a crime at the end of the day towards an innocent person. How this type of stuff actually happens. My content is not for everyone. It's not. Always be yourself with no misintentions. You know, the right people that respect you with no misintentions, that's not sending you the evil lie, that don't look at you like competition, that don't have hate in their vein. They respect you good day, bad day, and misunderstand they with no misintentions. When God sends the right people into your life, they act in their body weight. That maturity has different regardless they came from poverty and pain. They ain't got hate in their vein. They actually know how to respect you. They ain't have to pretend to be authentic to get to know you. They ain't projecting an eye, eye for eye, like how you passed it at the end of the day to hurt you. No, I have to change them because the devil's a goddamn lie. They not projecting that type of mental health on you at the end of the day. They respect you, hear you, they show you motivation, they cheering you on. Good day, bad day, misunderstand they with no misintentions when they not trying to do you wrong. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect, and my content is not for everyone. I am far from a catfish regardless who trying to blackmail me, who hacked my device or gang stalking at the end of the day. You know, gang stalking is real, and it's not for likes and views of cloud chasing. And there's individuals that deal with this type of stuff every single day, and they voice feel like it doesn't matter. You matter and you are worthy, and you're not overlooked, and I say that respectfully. And God was never for sale, likes and views of cloud chasing or fame. My content is not for everyone. I do not worship the devil good day, bad day, or misunderstanding, and I say that respectfully. Never allow a man or a woman, regardless to their tax bracket, project fear in you, and I say that respectfully, or make you feel like you're wrong for speaking up for yourself when someone disrespects you and tells you that your voice does not matter. Because your voice does matter, and I say that respectfully. And especially when you never have malicious intentions towards your neighbor. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect, and my content is not for everyone. It's not. Loving yourself is not a crime. And because someone doesn't understand your love language, it's not you going out your way to bring harm towards them. It's not you going out your way to send them spell work or send them an evil lie or have malicious intentions towards your neighbor. It's the same thought for me. We all don't operate the same, and I say that respectfully. And one thing I don't run from is he say, she say, regardless to what next door neighbors gang stalking me and any tags bracket. And I say that respectfully. I can repeat anything that I said, and I say that respectfully. I do not live in fear, and I will never hurt myself. Good day, bad day, or misunderstand day, regardless of who has me shadow banned or not. I don't worship the devil. I worship the good God with no malicious intentions, regardless of my sexual orientation. And I say that respectfully. I didn't have to pretend to be authentic. Always be yourself with no misintentions. Motivation, patience, elevation. That discipline actually hits different. It allows you to see the strength within you. That communication goal within it can't fulfill your shoes. They try to be you, outdo you, or better than you. But hold on one second. God gave you a different type of conscience. At the end of the day, that flow is different when it comes to being authentic. You had the potential within you. You got lost in a couple of chapters, but God was showing your point of view, that you are worthy. God wasn't trying to overlook you, overcoming obstacles. Hold on one second. When they sneak dissed you, they try to get you out of character when it came to your vocabulary. But unconditional love lied within you. It lived within you. The energy is different. Even when you got lost in your words, you still kept it pushing. They would never understand motivation hits different. Unconditional love looks good on you, and I say that respectfully. When you didn't have to pretend to be authentic. It was a remedy when it came to God's flow. At the end of the day, you was truly two-stepping with God when God spent the block for you. The energy is different. Respecting your neighbor. Didn't have to pretend. I didn't have hate in my vein. Always be yourself with no misintentions. I'm far from a copycat when it comes to being authentic. And I say that respectfully. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect, and my content is not for everyone. It's not. I know how to respect my neighbor, good day, bad day, and misunderstanding, regardless of who tries to blackmail me against me and tries to pay me out to be somebody I truly am not. You know, gang stalking is real. Never give up on yourself, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding. And I say that respectfully, regardless of who's sending you the evil lie, or sending you spell work in a toxic way, or who has to create a hate train to go up against you. And the same people that sending the hate train towards you is the ones that's hacking your devices and gang stalking like the next door neighbor in different tax bracket. Never give up on yourself, and I say that respectfully. I do not worship the devil, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. I am far from an addict, regardless who's trying to blackmail me against me. I am far from a prostitute, and I say that respectfully, regardless who's trying to blackmail me against me, and I say that respectfully. My content is not for everyone. Loving yourself is not a crime, and I say that respectfully. It's not. And being authentic, it's not a crime. And especially when you're not trying to hurt yourself or others around you. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect, and my content is not for everyone. Regardless to where you at in your healing journey, respect a two-way street. When someone walks into your life and they're healing as well, they're not trying to outdo you better than your trauma. They're not trying to compare my trauma for trauma for trauma. They don't have hate or jealousy or envy towards you, regardless if you're spiritually gifted or not at the end of the day. Because in reality, we live in the spiritual world. People pick and choose who could talk about certain topics, but it's facts. And respect's a two-way street. I don't gotta send an evil eye towards my neighbor. If you're not for me, just stay in your lane, neighbor. No, the shade on me. I'm far from my head. Have a good day. And I say that respectfully. I would never hurt myself, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. My content is not for everyone. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. I may not make sense to the average person, and that's okay. And when it comes to my creativity, I work alone, and I always have since day one, regardless who's in the background trying to blackmail me against me. I work alone when it comes to my creativity. I'm not a gen of respect, and I will never hurt myself. Peace and respect, your neighbor. Stop the bunch. You man, right on them, yeah, like. Gotta go, neighbor, on them, yeah, like. Never allow someone insecurities to be projected on you at the end of the day. And I say that respectfully. I'm still healing from a hate crime that was done on me. And I do not live in fear. It's disgusting to see how men will bully a female. But not all men are like that. And just because a man did that to me or a woman did that to me, I don't look at everybody the same. Because at the end of the day, I know that everybody is not the same. But I still know how to respect my neighbor regardless to what they did to me that day. But just stay in your lane. I'm far from hate, and I say that respectfully. Protect your energy, protect your family, stay out of trouble inside the violence. Peace and respect, your neighbor. Stop the bunch. You better right on them, yeah, like. Gotta go, neighbor, on them, yeah, like. And when it comes to my recording, I pick and choose when I want to record. I'm getting sick of people making assumptions. Oh, you projecting spoke on me, and you, please. You're mentally unstable at the end of the day. If you gotta project spoke on somebody, or you're watching someone's every move at the end of the day, that's called gang stalking. It's a train of thought for me. We're not the same.